In ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh observed the legendary Nile River from his palace and found himself trying to shake off the effects of a dream. Worried, thoughtful, nervous. The reason for concern lies in the interpretation given by his magician, which indicated that a baby boy would be born among the Israelites that day who will end his reign. Who? How? Who dared to challenge his power, which trembled his enemies? Pharaoh turned to his soldiers and issued a command that would be etched in the annals of history. Knock on every door. Search each house. Identify those who have recently given birth to male children. Execute the infants on the spot. My decree is absolute. Pharaoh, who issued such brutal orders, likely was the cruelest ruler in recorded history. The tyrannical ruler of Egypt was consumed by overwhelming pride, even proclaiming himself as divine. For this video, we have conducted thorough research and done script writing, voiceover, and video editing. We are an ad-free, non-profit channel. We're a dedicated team of volunteers striving to spread the truth. If you wish to support our efforts in spreading the truth, kindly subscribe to our channel and become part of our collective work. The ancient Egyptian title of Pharaoh held significance within the faith as the one responsible for the protection of the earth. Well then, how did Pharaoh come to perceive himself as God? Pharaoh proclaimed, "O courtiers, I do not recognize any God for you other than me." Surah Al-Qasas, verse 37. Pharaoh is mentioned in 74 instances in the Qur'an, often depicting his cruelty and arrogance. Accompanied by his loyal and devoted servants, Pharaoh exerted dominance over the whole country. As Egypt flourished, his reign grew stronger by the day. He wielded his power without any opposition. He made decisions as he saw fit, further fueling his arrogance. According to the customs prevailing in ancient Egypt, accepting Pharaoh as a god and offering prayers in his name at all temples of the land contributed to his belief in falsehood. He led a joyful life, torturing people, unaware of what was about to happen. Soon, Allah would reveal His judgment, a lesson for all mankind. But before discussing this judgment, let's take a closer look at ancient Egypt. The Nile, one of the world's longest rivers, was renowned for its continuous flow, even during the summer, earning its reputation as a fertile and abundant source of sustenance. The Nile's waters nurtured the arid soil, creating a fertile delta where crops thrived, leading to the development of Egypt. Flourishing cities and ports facilitated a thriving trade, bolstering the nation's wealth. While Pharaoh resided in his palace, the people, particularly the enslaved population, worked day and night to maintain this order. The enslaved were responsible for the back-breaking work, including plantation construction, prevailing at that time. Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, served as a vizier in Egypt for a period, spreading the teachings of Islam. However, after his passing, Egypt returned to its ancient pagan faith. Driven by a desire for revenge, the Egyptians enslaved the descendants of Prophet Yusuf, peace be upon him, and his brothers, the Israelites. Amidst the suffering of the enslaved population, Pharaoh was surrounded by advisors who helped him maintain his rule. One such advisor was Qarun, whose immense wealth is described in the Qur'an as follows, "And we had given him such treasures as their keys would weigh too heavy for a strong group of people. Remember when his people said to him, 'Do not exult. Surely Allah does not like the exultant.'" Surah Al-Qasas, verse 76. While the Qur'an describes to us the vast wealth of Qarun, it also narrates his arrogance before his people and, ultimately, his downfall along with his riches. Another influential advisor of Pharaoh was Haman, a powerful and high-ranking individual who oversaw the quarries as a vizier. However, like Qarun, Haman deviated from the right path due to his interests. Let's talk about the dream of the Pharaoh and the beginning of the change. The Pharaoh dreamed a male baby from the Israelites born that night would rise to the throne and cause his demise. Interpreting the dream, Pharaoh ordered the killing of all male infants born that night. One of the children born that night was Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Pharaoh's soldiers systematically visited every house, executing all the boys. The mother of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, had heard this dreadful news. Faced with cold-blooded murders intent on killing her son, what could she do? She did the one thing she could and cried out to her Lord in despair. She knew that only Allah could save her child. Her sincere prayer shook the heavens. At that critical moment, Allah inspired her, saying, "Suckle him, Musa. Then once you fear about him, cast him in the river. And do not fear and do not grieve. Surely, we are going to bring him back to you." Surah Al-Qasas, verse 7. Prophet Musa's mother felt a slight relief upon receiving divine inspiration. She suckled her son and hugged him. However, her respite was short-lived as the soldiers approached her house. Fear once again consumed her. With no other choice, she carried her son to the Nile. The soldiers' footsteps got closer, and she felt helpless. It was a heartbreaking decision. Either leave her baby to the mercy of the river or witness the soldiers mercilessly slaughter him before her eyes. As the soldiers closed in, she trusted Allah and set her baby adrift in a cradle on the Nile. She stayed behind, determined to intercept the soldiers and protect her son. The sister of Prophet Musa, peace be upon him, secretly followed the drifting cradle, keeping a watchful eye over her baby brother. The cradle eventually arrived at the Pharaoh's palace. Pharaoh's wife, Asiya, noticed the cradle in the water while strolling along the riverside. She was astonished when she unveiled it, finding an innocent and oblivious baby inside. Her heart melted at that sight. She immediately went to Pharaoh, expressing her love for the baby and seeking assurance that he won't be harmed. Upon witnessing the boy removed from the cradle, Pharaoh's wife spoke to him, saying, "He may be a delight of eye for me and you. Do not kill him. It is hoped that he will be of benefit to us, or we will adopt him as a son." And they were not aware of what was going to happen. Surah Al-Qasas, verse 9. Once Pharaoh was convinced, Musa began to live in the palace. Unaware of these developments, Musa's mother experienced a mix of emotions. She found solace in the knowledge that Allah's command had led her baby to Pharaoh's palace, despite the ruler's order to kill all male infants. Her anxious anticipation persisted. Then, one day, news reached her that the palace was searching for a wet nurse for a baby who had rejected numerous others. Filled with the hope that the baby might be her son, she went to the palace and presented herself as a potential wet nurse. Astonishingly, the baby accepted her, causing Pharaoh's wife to be taken aback. Of course, she didn't know that she was Musa's birth mother. And so, Musa grew up in the palace in the care of his mother. Musa exemplified integrity and honesty as he grew, positively influencing those around him. Eventually, Allah entrusted him with a prophetic duty to confront Pharaoh, the arrogant ruler who claimed divinity, and invite him to recognize the Lord of the heavens and earth. This mission was fraught with danger, possibly leading to Musa's demise. However, Obeying Allah's command was paramount to him. Accompanied by his brother Harun, Aaron, Musa approached Pharaoh, who demanded a display of miracles. Allah sent Musa signs and miracles to present to Pharaoh and his people. They rejected these signs. The consequences for such mischief makers would be severe. Allah commanded Prophet Musa to cast down his staff, which transformed into a serpent. Regarding it as magic, Pharaoh summoned his magicians and instructed them to destroy the magic of Musa. The magicians showed their skills, causing ropes and branches to appear as squirming snakes on the ground. However, Prophet Musa's, peace be upon him, staff swallowed them and destroyed their illusions. The magicians recognized that Musa's actions were not magic, as no man could do that, but a divine sign from the Allah, and believed in him. Despite witnessing the truth firsthand, Pharaoh remained unbelieving. He disregarded the magicians' faith in Musa and executed them. In response, Allah punished Pharaoh and his people with years of famine and sickness for rejecting his prophets. They endured devastating floods, swarms of locusts, infestations of vermin, and plagues of frogs. Yet they failed to learn from these afflictions or change their ways. Allah commanded Musa to lead his people out of Egypt, embarking on a perilous journey between life and death. Upon learning of the departure of Pharaoh and the Israelites, Pharaoh mobilized his formidable army to exterminate them. He caught up with Musa and the Israelites at the Red Sea shore, cornering them in a dire predicament. Behind them loomed Pharaoh's mighty and numerous forces, while the vast expanse of the Red Sea lay before them. In this critical moment, the Prophet Musa prayed to Allah, and Allah answered his prayer. After all other options had been exhausted, his sincere prayer was accepted. Allah, the helper of the helpless, commanded Musa to strike the sea with his staff. Miraculously, as Musa struck the water, the Red Sea parted, creating a path through the divided waters. Witnessing this divine intervention, the Israelites followed Musa's lead, traversing to the opposite shore through a dry path that miraculously opened up in the sea. Pharaoh, unwilling to relinquish his pride, observed this astounding sight and stubbornly ordered his army to pursue the Israelites. As Pharaoh and his army found themselves in the midst of the sea, Allah issued His command, and the raging waters engulfed the army of disbelievers. The sea wiped out Pharaoh and his army. And we let the children of Israel cross the sea. So Pharaoh and his troops chased them in transgression and hostility, until when he was about to drown, he said, I believe that there is no God but the one in whom the children of Israel believe, and I am among those who submit to Allah. But Allah responded, Is it now that you have come to believe, while you were rebellious all along, and you were among the mischief makers? So today, we shall save your body so that you may become a sign for those after you. And many of the people are heedless of our signs. Surah Yunus, verses 90 to 92. The colossal waves swallowed Pharaoh and his army. Thus Allah protected those who believed in him from the evils of those disbelievers. After Pharaoh's drowning, his lifeless body was recovered and preserved through mummification, although his death was recorded as natural in the palace records. The Egyptians, known for concealing their defeats, did not document such a significant defeat. Interestingly, the Qur'an revealed this information at a time when the practice of mummification and the discovery of Pharaoh's tombs were still unknown. Only in later centuries, during the 18th and 19th centuries, were these tombs unearthed. And the mummified remains of the pharaohs are now displayed in museums. This story serves as a reminder that every individual has the freedom to choose and live accordingly and eventually leave this world. Pharaoh rejected Allah, the universe's creator, and claimed divinity for himself. The consequences of his choices led to a terrible ending. They say, the soul in a man is like Pharaoh, and the heart is like Musa. Within each person, a struggle exists similar to that of Prophet Musa and Pharaoh. Our nafs can incline towards egoism and self-centeredness, mirroring the traits of Pharaoh, right? So let us enlighten our hearts with the light of the Qur'an and keep them clean at all times. So, in the end, we may emerge victorious in our inner conflicts. Let us turn to Allah as humble servants, not disbelievers. Pharaoh's disbelief persisted until his death. He lived a life of disobedience and rebellion against Allah, and his faith, in the end, was not accepted. For what use is saying, "I believe," after everything is revealed? If we can watch this video, we still have time to repent, rectify our lives, and seek Allah's forgiveness. We're not as bad as Pharaoh. Remember, even Pharaoh was once an innocent baby, but his unrepented sins piled up and sealed his fate. May Allah awaken us before death calls upon us. Surah Al-Araf, verse 103.